What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Rewind with Rekenya. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe, like this video, and comment because I definitely want to get a conversation going about this video's topic. So some of you may have seen the images and the trailers have been dropped for the new entry in the sequels to The Best Man. So this is actually going to be a series that's going to be on Peacock that is discussing the Best Man book that was in the movie, the original movie, Unfinished Business. It's now going to be a movie in the series, if that makes sense. I know, because I went like in circles with that. So I wanted to make this video to do a quick recap of the movie because it's one of my favorites, and I think this movie really is just like so much beauty in the cast and so much black excellence. But also, because I've seen so many tweets that said the real villain was Mia, I just want to remind some people who may have not seen this movie in a long time that Harper is and will always be the main villain of this story. Okay, so let's get started. The Best Man is a 1999 romantic dramedy, I guess you could say. It's really not that much drama in a sense of like any sadness, but there is some drama in terms of the actual plot of the story. It's more so funny, especially if you get a lot of the inside jokes that are just like of the culture. I'll just say that. So the film stars beautiful cast, like I just said: Taye Diggs, Nia Long, Terrence Howard, Morris Chestnut, oh my goodness, Monica Calhoun, Sanaa Lathan, Melissa DeSouza, and I can never pronounce, I feel so bad, Harold Perrineau. I may be mispronouncing this. He's such a spectacular actor too. If you were ever a fan of Oz, he was also on Star. But yes, wonderful cast. It was written and produced written and directed by Malcolm D. Lee, who is the cousin of the producer Spike Lee. So again, you could just see this is sprinkled with just some of everybody. It also is the debut of Regina Hall, so that's amazing. So like I said, it's a 1999 film, so it's a little dated in some of the scenes, but not fully, because I still watch it and it still feels like it's relevant to this time. Harper Stewart, the star, Taye Diggs, he is this up-and-coming novelist, author, and he has just finished his first novel. It's called Unfinished Business, and it gets selected by Oprah's book club, so that's huge. And the issue with the book, which is the first issue with Harper also, it's about his group of friends. So he has this college group of friends that he decided to base the characters on this book about, and that just calls for so much drama for this weekend that he's about to take part in. One of his close friends from college, Lance, is about to get married. Lance Sullivan, who is a professional football player. He is getting married to his college sweetheart, Mia. And Mia is Monica Calhoun. She is the virginal queen of Lance. Like, he really just holds her up to this high regard. And gonna get back into Mia's character because she's no saint. But that's what Lance, he looks at her like a saint. So he arrives in town. He talks to the super strong Jordan Armstrong, who is played by Nia Long. She is the strong, independent woman, the career woman who is working behind the scenes with the TV shows. If I'm not mistaken, she was a publicist, but I may have to just fact check that. As someone who was a publicist, I definitely should know that. And she has had this advanced copy of the book, because of her job and because of what she does. She already knows what the content of the book is, which is like, she knows the drama is going to follow it. The other friends, like I said, Julian, who was played by Harold, that I mentioned, I couldn't say his last name. They call him Merch, is a nickname. And then Terrence Howard, who is Quentin Spivey, who is the messy one of the group. But in retrospect, and especially as looking at this as an adult, Quentin really wasn't like the villain, and he wasn't really as messy. He mostly wanted Harper to just be honest about the book and about what was going on, and to like clear it out instead of being a punk about it, because that was the issue. Harper was trying to act like he was so, like diligent. He was such a good friend, and he wasn't. He really wasn't. He wasn't even a good friend to Quentin or Merch or Jordan. So they're having this fun weekend in New York City. All of the friends have finally gotten back together. Merch has this kind of overbearing girlfriend who's Melissa DeSouza. Oh, she's so bossy, but she's funny too. She really adds to the lineup of characters. Robin is played by Sanaa Lathan. That's Taye Diggs' girlfriend, who is really kind of sick of him because he's not fully like committed to the relationship. He and Harper's attitude is so like bougie, kind of not feeling anything. He's an atheist, so he doesn't want to hear anyone's religious talk, and he just wasn't really feeling anything until they get started with the weekend. And one of the funniest scenes is when Harper and Quentin kind of make eye contact, because Quentin and Merch have also seen the advanced copy, so they know what's in the book as well. Pretty much everyone knows except for Lance. And Lance is like oblivious, which is terrible. If you ever have a group of friends and everybody knows something except this one person who it's about, like that's trash. Again, Harper's a villain. So the major point of this book is that Harper has had an affair with Mia while they were still in college. It was a one night stand. But again, like I said, Lance sees Mia as this virgin, as this woman who has not been with anyone else, and yet she's been with his best friend. That's why I said she is no saint. They are anticipating him finding out, but not until the weekend is over. Harper pretty much has it in his mind that Lance isn't going to read this book during his wedding weekend because he's too busy. He's a professional football player. He don't have time for this. But, of course, that's not the case. So they go through the weekend, have so much tension built up. I'm skipping over some parts here, so I'm not going to give too many spoiler alerts, except for that main factor. They go into the bachelor party, because this is where things really come to a head. Lance snatches up Harper's copy of the book. And he decides that he was going to go ahead and read it. It felt like he just was kind of getting some vibes, because what would make you read that during your bachelor party? Reads the book. He is pissed because he's reading this about his woman, because he could read between the lines that this characters are based on Harper and Mia. Whoops Harper's ass. Like, they have to pull Terrence Howard and Harold, they have to pull him off of Harper because he's so heated. He's like, the wedding's off, it's done with. So now Harper shows up to Jordan's house, and he wants to blame her. Again, the villain, because you want to blame Jordan and say that she put it out there. Jordan slaps him, in which they talk about on their Unsung how that was a real slap that Nia Long gave Taye Diggs. But she slaps him like, get your mind right, because you were the one who actually did this act, and you were the one who wrote the book. Like, you put it out there. Why, of all the things, couldn't you have put out something else that had happened with the friend group, or created a fictional story about this friend group if you still wanted to use them in the book? I just never understood that part. So they end up, having their talk, but it's still their tension in their relationship, because they have some sexual tension too. It feels like Harper is kind of strung Jordan along, because he went to her house. She was anticipating them finally having sex, and it was supposed to be a whole thing, but of course they didn't. So Harper goes to pick up his girlfriend now from the airport, and she sees him a bloodied mess, and she's like, what the hell happened? Because you just saw your man like 2 days ago. He picks you up from the airport for this wedding, and he's all beat up. I would be like, what the hell just happened that quick? So he tells her the truth. Finally, he's telling the truth. And she's like over it, but he convinces her to stay and help him to save the wedding, because again, like I said, Lance said it's over. He's not getting married. They end up going to the church, and Lance is, like I said, an atheist. He's trying to convince, I'm sorry, Harper is an atheist. Harper is now trying to convince Lance to continue on with the wedding, and ends up praying with him. Because in this, another funny scene is Terrence Howard and Harold like getting dragged down the aisle as Lance is like trying to cut it off. Unfortunately, he does end up going through with the wedding. They end up getting married. They end up having this reception in which Harper, who's the best man, he gives this heartfelt speech, and he's, finally feeling some emotion, because he's really been pretty emotionless throughout the rest of this, and like such a lack of empathy. And he goes on, him and Jordan kind of settle their feelings for each other, but then he goes on to propose to his girlfriend Robin, Sanaa Lathan. Again, like, maybe this is just my personal too. This one may not count as him being the villain for other people, but you've already almost ruined their union, and then you got the nerve to propose to your woman at their wedding. Oh my goodness. So, oh, I forgot to also say, the friend Merch, he ends up breaking up with Shelby, his controlling, domineering girlfriend, because he met a young Regina Hall at the bachelor party, who was a dancer. She was a stripper. And so they end up getting together. And we get like a whole new person to the mix. But Shelby still attends the wedding. She attends the wedding, catches the bouquet from Mia, and Quentin catches the garter belt. So, those two like kind of lock in on each other and see that they have a connection. And it kind of moves on to the next part of the series. But like I said, I wanted to make this video to recap, and in recapping, kind of give the points here that Harper is and always was the villain. Not only did Harper decide that he was going to sleep with his best friend's girl, even though it was a one night stand, and I had this discussion, but it's like he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was getting into, because this has been his thing. He's been the bachelor. And although Lance was more of the ladies' man, because come on, I was more Chestnut. But he knew what his friend was going through also. And he decided to take this chance, sleep with this woman who he knew he was in love with. All these years, never say anything about it to him. Never confess his friend. Never even come to Mia and say, you know what, we should probably tell the truth about this. Because Mia is also wrong for what she did. I'm not taking any accountability away from her. But to never even mention it and instead write a book about it, he's giving main villain vibes. So in addition to doing that, you write the book, you're rude to your other friends, because he was talking down to Terrence Howard, who's kind of like the free spirit, talking about how he's like not keeping a job and this other stuff. Talking down to Merch because he can't really keep a secret, and his girlfriend was being the controlling person, who they were aware of this though, because this friend group has gotten together other occasions. He was leading Jordan on. He still kissed Jordan, although they didn't have sex. He still kissed Jordan while he is also in this relationship that he didn't want to commit to until he got his ass whooped. Like, he still was in the wrong there. Overall, I just feel like it's never really been just like highlighted, the fact that Harper was all around trash to everybody, like from friends to the girlfriends to the women around. He was always the trash character, always the villain. And that's just my nugget on the original Best Man. So we're not going to get into the series yet, but I am going to share some images and that trailer that dropped in my shorts and in my community tab. So be sure again to subscribe to my channel. Like this video, comment, let me know your thoughts. Was Harper the real villain, or do you think that Mia was a villain? Or is it Lance? Like, who do you think was the main villain? Because I'm going with Harper. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with another video soon. Bye.